When I wrote my essay on workplace bullying, I did not include black magic as a workplace bullying technique because, to my knowledge, I had not experienced it at that point in the workplace. People had attempted spell work against me in my personal life since I was a child. However, 4 years ago, when I was a tutor at a tutoring center, the administrative assistant who was having sex with the regional director who was stealing money from the company, even though he was married, in order to advance herself into positions within the organization for which she was completely unqualified, was attempting black magic against me and my coworkers. To this day, that psychotic woman is still jealous of me, watches my videos, and attempts black magic against me. So I'm just gonna keep putting these messages out there until she learns to finally leave me alone. So this one's for you, Stacy. I now include black magic as a subset of the workplace bullying technique of extortion because workplace bullies literally steal your stuff for spell work. So what is witchcraft in the workplace? You can call it black magic, witchcraft, spell work, or just the craft. Like workplace bullying itself, black magic is twofold. The intent is to send and to take. All workplace bullies are trying to project all of their own negative energy onto you and take all of your goodies at the same time. They need a soul transplant. Workplace bullies who do black magic are attempting to send harm your way and sabotage the good things you have in your life. A spell is nothing more than a poem read out loud with focused energy and intent because words have spelling. That's all it is. You cast spells every day. If someone cuts you off in traffic and you give them the middle finger, that's a spell. Focused energy and intent. Similarly, if your friend is sick and you pray for your friend, that's a spell too. Focused energy and intent. Anyone can cast spells. Some people like to include things like candles, crystals, incense, herbs, oils, and other spiritual tools because physical objects that appeal to the senses ground the spell in the 3D earth plane reality, like manifesting into the physical, if you see what I mean. Because they are so uncreative, workplace bullies may be working at home with spells they found online. A lot of people go online to do spell begging, or if they can afford it, they may pay someone to curse you. Some people who do black magic believe that they are actually summoning a demon and sending that demon your way. Some people may work with blood, their own blood or menstrual blood, or they may buy bloody meat at the grocery store or go so far as to scrape up the carcasses of roadkill. Some people may put your name and or photograph in a jar with nails and screws and other sharp objects and bury it to bury you. Or they may do rituals in cemeteries or work with graveyard dirt to, again, effectively bury you. Some people may harm a poppet by literally sticking pins in it, for example, that represents you. This is the proverbial voodoo doll. And some people may use photographs of you that they found on your social media for use in spell work. What workplace bullies who do black magic really want is your discards, your personal items and possessions that have your energy on them, especially your bodily fluids. That's why I classify black magic under the workplace bullying technique of extortion, because workplace bullies literally steal your stuff to do it. If you are a woman, you may notice a workplace bully entering the bathroom immediately after you have used it in order to retrieve your used sanitary items. I know that's disgusting. Or they may ask to borrow unused sanitary items from you. Presumably, those items still have your energy on them, even if you have not used them, and can be used against you. They may steal personal items and possessions from you, clothing and pieces of jewelry, or they may ask to borrow things from you, clothes, for example, on false pretenses. Oh, it's so cold in the office today. I forgot my sweater. Do you have one I can borrow? If anyone you work with ever asks to borrow anything from you, consider that a major red flag. That was the dead giveaway for me. That was the big tip off. The administrative assistant texted me one afternoon asking to borrow clothes from me, and I immediately knew what she was up to. Do not ever lend any personal items or possessions, even sanitary items, to anyone you work with. Or do what I did. Give that bully something you got at Goodwill that you've never worn before. That way she's attempting to curse a complete stranger, and that will only make her karma even worse. This is why I say that if you work in person, everything comes and goes with you. Do not ever leave any personal items or possessions inside the workplace at any time. I don't care what anyone says. It's your stuff that you paid for with your money. A lot of people like to leave a sweater or a jacket inside their workspace in case it gets too cold because of the AC. Don't do that. They will either steal it for spell work or just plain steal it. And anything that you leave inside the workplace, you're just going to have to pack up into boxes with tears streaming down your face when they fire you on false pretenses. I know it sounds paranoid and anxiety inducing, but you cannot afford to get comfortable. You need to be ready to go and have one foot out the door at all times. Nowhere is safe. Ladies, if you still menstruate, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to place your used sanitary items inside a plastic bag in your purse to dispose of later when you get home, where presumably your sanitation worker is not going to go through your trash. I know that sounds disgusting, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Workplace bullies also like to get their hands on your food and throw some spell work down on it. You may think it's food poisoning, but it could be black magic. It may not be safe to leave food in common areas like the kitchen. If you have to invest in a big backpack and some kind of cooler type thing to keep your food at the appropriate temperature, then swallow the expense. Consider it necessary to survive. The workplace bully who does black magic may also be a baker, bringing baked goods inside the workplace to share with everyone. Don't even touch that. Do not ever ingest anything these people give you. If they offer to pick up your lunch for you, be very suspicious. In fact, it's best never to accept anything from these people at all. I taught English for internationals for 15 years. A lot of cultures in the world have a gift-giving tradition, so I received a lot of gifts from my students over the years, and every single time I stopped at the nearest dumpster on the way home and threw it in the trash. If it is not from my dad or my therapist, it is not inside my home. Do not ever bring anything these people give you inside your home, unless you want to use it in your own spell work against them. If you do bring it inside your home, you will feel the energy immediately. Throw it away or donate it if you have to. And I just want to say, if you live in one of those apartment complexes with door-to-door trash pickup, don't do that. I never leave my trash out anywhere. I always take it to the dumpster myself. Trust no one, including your neighbors. How do you know a workplace bully is doing black magic against you? The first sign is that stuff goes missing. There's an obvious kleptomaniac in your workplace. Again, as I stated, workplace bullies may ask to borrow items, clothing and sanitary items from you. Consider that a major red flag. When workplace bullies are really bold, they may attempt to curse you verbally with the workplace bullying technique of muttering under the breath, which is part of the workplace bullying technique of insults, mouthing inaudibly in your face. They may just be insulting you, or they may be attempting to curse you and you can't understand what is being said. Workplace bullies may also attempt to curse you with their hands. Another sign is the physical symptoms. The big one is gastrointestinal distress. If you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're on the toilet for 4 hours, sweating buckets and turning green, honey, That's a psychic attack. These people like to work in the dark, in secret at night, and 3 a.m. is the witching hour. You may think that it's food poisoning. It could be that you ingested something, your food or theirs, that the bully cursed, or it could be that the bully is attempting black magic against you at that time. You may also wake up with a crushing sensation like you're going to suffocate to death. That is the demon the bully is attempting to send your way. You may experience other weird health problems you never had before. For example, when I was working at the tutoring center, I broke out in hives on my face, which had never happened to me before. The administrative assistant clearly had a problem with my physical appearance and wanted to attack me for it. I also got a migraine for the first time in my life. At home, you may sense foul odors that come out of nowhere that you cannot trace to any detectable source. Your relationships with loved ones, family members, and friends may become strained. You may lose interest in hobbies and things that once gave you joy. That is the bully attempting to take away the good things that you have in your life. If you have a pet, you may notice that your pet becomes unusually stressed or sick. Animals are part of the spirit world, and they are even more sensitive to energy than we are. Another sign is that all of the above is happening to your coworkers. Your coworkers may report their own strange symptoms, having to pull over to the side of the road to vomit, coming into work late, having to leave work early, absenteeism and tardiness due to illness. The bully may successfully be able to get rid of some people. You may notice your coworkers disappearing under mysterious circumstances. For some reason, they just don't work there anymore. When I was working at the tutoring center, one of my coworkers couldn't get her visa renewed. The administrative assistant definitely had something to do with that. You may also notice coworkers behaving out of character and making very bad choices, like having extramarital affairs, a sure sign that love spells have been attempted. So what do you do if you think a workplace bully is attempting black magic against you? The first thing you want to do is called the freezer trick. And this is imperative for any job, black magic or no black magic. You write the person's name on a piece of paper 3 times, fold the piece of paper 3 times, put it in a plastic bag, fill the plastic bag with water, and stick it in the freezer. That way the person is frozen and cannot affect you. I do this with all coworkers and clients. Every time I start a new job, I just put them all in one bag. The next thing you want to do is protect your body. I'm a firm believer in crystals, the kind that you wear on your person, not leave inside the workplace for kleptomaniac workplace bullies to steal. The big one is black tourmaline. I believe it is the most protective crystal. I wore black tourmaline when I worked at the nonprofit for domestic and sexual violence, and I really believe it is the reason that I was able to last as long as I did. You can also wear other protective amulets, charms, or even tattoos like the evil eye or the hamsa. For example, another thing you want to do is creative visualization. Imagine a protective barrier encapsulating your body before you set foot inside the workplace and regularly throughout the day. Some people visualize a white light, but it can be light of any color, like the violet flame, for example. Other people imagine a brick, granite, or concrete wall around them. I have a concrete wall that is 6 feet thick, like a Soviet apartment block, around me everywhere I go. Other people wear a protective cloak like Harry Potter, or imagine a wall of mirrors facing outward, reflecting energy outward. You can also use prayers like Psalms or whatever is in accordance with your belief system to protect yourself before you enter the workplace and regularly throughout the day, to protect your actual workspace without drawing any attention. You can use essential oil, sprinkle some essential oil around your workspace. Any essential oil will do, especially mint. I tried that one and it worked really well. You can also make some bitch away spray or bitch be gone. Boil white sage and then put the boiled water in a spray bottle and spray it around your workspace to keep the bitches away. The next thing you want to do is cleanse yourself and cleanse your home. To cleanse yourself, you will need two things, white sage and salt. When you burn white sage, it's called smudging. To smudge yourself, you sort of bathe in the smoke of the burning white sage. When you do this, you want to be naked and get your genitals and the soles of your feet. A lot of people don't like to burn white sage because it smells like cheap weed. In that case, you can use Palo Santo instead. Again, just light it and bathe in the smoke. This is something that you really want to be doing on a regular basis, black magic or no black magic. An empath is a sponge, and you may be absorbing other people's stuff, not only in the workplace, but even when you are out running errands, from your neighbors, through the walls, or through the art that you consume. Cleanse and cleanse and cleanse on the daily. You can also bathe with salt. You can take a salt bath, or if you take showers, you just take a pinch of salt and put it in your soap or cleanser. That's all it takes. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy like organic pink Himalayan rock salt. Table salt will do just fine. Bathing with salt every day is also a good idea. You can also cleanse your body with an egg cleanse, limpia con huevo. You can just Google that. To cleanse your home, the first thing you want to do is literally clean it. Do not allow negative energy to accumulate in your space. You want to do a thorough spring cleaning, the kind when you clean all the things you don't ordinarily clean on a weekly basis. Move all the furniture and clean everything. As you do this, weather permitting, open all the windows to release all negative energy from your home. Some people even clean the walls. I know that's hard. I do that on a yearly basis. You can also cleanse your home with white sage or Palo Santo, or just incense. I burn incense inside my home every day. If you do that, you'll find that over time, it gives your home a really nice smell. You want to start at your front door and move around the internal perimeter of your home in a clockwise direction, saying psalms or whatever is in accordance with your belief system, and asking the universe to cleanse and bless and protect your home. You can do the same while ringing singing bowls or chimes. Again, start at your front door and move around the internal perimeter of your home in a clockwise direction, asking for protection and or saying prayers. If you don't want to invest in a singing bowl, just bang regular pots and pans together or find some spiritual music on YouTube. The objective is just to use sound to cleanse your home. You can do the same with your holy book, if you have one, walking around the internal perimeter of your home and reading out loud from it. You can also burn candles. Try to keep candles burning inside your home at all times if possible. And finally, you can do what's called the lemon trick. So you take a lemon, cut it into 4 pieces, place it on a plate, and sprinkle it with salt. Set your intention that this lemon absorbs all negative energy from your home. Put it out of the way of children and pets and just leave it. When it starts to rot, you can dispose of it. It's okay to throw it away, but I think it's better to return it to the earth. After you have cleansed your space, you want to protect it. Again, use crystals. You want to place crystals at all points of entry. I have crystals on all windowsills and over every door. You can buy 4 pieces of black tourmaline and place them in the 4 farthest corners of your home to grid your home. No offense to the spiritual community, but it does get awfully precious when it comes to all the candles and the colors and the herbs and what is appropriate for what spell. No, you don't have to drop $400 in a witchy haul at Michael's. The only thing you have to do is know yourself. What works for you? Yes, you can buy crystals online, but I think it's better to go to a local rock shop where experts can advise you and you can feel the energy of the crystals and which ones jump out at you. You will want to cleanse the crystals themselves. You can use white sage or collect all your crystals and put them outside under the light of the full moon. I tend to put my crystals outside under the new moon and the full moon. Next, you want to protect your home with salt, chalk dust, or red brick dust. So what you do is you take the chalk or the red brick, place it inside a plastic bag, take it outside, pulverize it into a dust with a hammer. If you live inside a private home, you sprinkle the salt, the chalk dust, or the red brick dust around the external perimeter of your home, setting your intention, asking for protection, and praying. If you live inside an apartment, just sprinkle it at all points of entry. I have salt along all windowsills and thresholds, along with my mirrors. Finally, to protect your home, you can tape mirrors facing outward on all windows and mirrors, because mirrors are portals. That reflects all energy away from your home. Everything that I have mentioned, the candles, the crystals, the chalk, the essential oil, the egg, the lemon, the Palo Santo, the red brick, the white sage, especially the salt, need to be blessed. Say whatever prayers are in accordance with your belief system to bless all of your spiritual items for your protection, cleansing, and healing. I have written individual spells for all of my spiritual tools, but I will never share them. My book of shadows lives and dies with me. All of this is a practice. It is not a one and done. I know when you are actively inside a workplace bullying environment, just how bad it makes you feel. Just ruins your whole weekend. It really lowers your vibration, and that's the intent. It can destroy your health, both physically and mentally. And though you know I hate empty, superficial, new age, toxic positivity, the truth is it really is in our best interest to do whatever we can. Yoga, meditation, journaling, spending time in nature, to keep our vibration high so that we are not a match for negative, low vibrational energies. The opposite of narcissistic abuse is self-care, and a regular spiritual practice is definitely one way to self-care. I know when I finish my rituals with my candles, my crystals, my incense, and my oils, I just feel so happy, relaxed, and refreshed. Black magic or no black magic, you may find that developing a spiritual practice is a way to improve your overall quality of life, and it may become something that you really enjoy doing. The most important thing to do, and this is probably the most important thing I will ever say on this channel, is to send it back. You really need to understand that energy is a finite substance. And as empaths, we have the power to manipulate energy. That is our superpower. That is why I keep saying that all workplace bullying is energy and intent. Hatred is energy. Spite is energy. Rage is energy. Malice is energy. And above all, jealousy is energy. So let's say a workplace bully approaches you and throws down a mean-spirited, petty, passive-aggressive insult. What just happened? That workplace bully just projectile vomited all of his own trauma, pain, and suffering onto you, because that's what workplace bullies do. Just walk right up to you and took a dump right in your face. And he targeted you because you receive it. So now it's yours. So what are you going to do? I want you to imagine that you have a ball in between your hands. It's about the size of a bowling ball. I like to imagine a ball of light crackling with electricity. It's malleable and you can manipulate it with your hands. You have it, but it doesn't belong to you. So all you have to do is throw it back. Return to sender. Send it back. Multifold, exponentially, in spades, and with interest. Consider it a little tip. That's all you have to do. That is your only response to workplace bullying. You don't say anything, you don't come forward, You don't speak up and speak out. You don't document. You don't go to the higher ups. You certainly don't go to HR. You don't go to the authorities. You don't file a lawsuit. And you do not draw attention to yourself as a whiner, a baby, a tattletale, and a bad apple. You just send it back. It's not a curse. It's just a response. It's physics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That way, if anyone is sending you love, they will receive love. If anyone is sending you negative energy, they alone will be the sole recipients of all of their own energy and intent. I send everything back 24/7, all day, every day. If it doesn't come directly from God, I am not capable of receiving it. I have set that intention 1,000,000 times over many long years, and I've been on this grind for thousands of years. I have seen bullies get sick, have accidents, and no longer be able to work. I will not take credit for any of that, but one thing is clear to me: they did it to themselves. This is something you just do mentally. However, if the bullying is really bad, if these people have eliminated you, if you think someone has attempted black magic against you, it's time for you to do some spell work of your own. Again, a spell is nothing more than focused energy and intent. One thing people do is take a black candle, it has to be solid black, write the person's name on it with a knife, let the candle burn all the way down, and just imagine all of that person's negative energy leaving your life forever. Other people use a white candle. They light the white candle, hold the candle facing a mirror because mirrors reflect, and just send all that energy back. If you want to sit down and do a ritual with your candles, your crystals, your incense, and your oils, or whatever spiritual tools you use, I have written some spells to that effect. I wrote them 3 years ago for my first video on black magic. They are in the video description. Again, a spell is a poem that you read out loud with focused energy and intent. The first one is for protection. You always want to pray for protection before doing anything spiritual, even prayer. The second one is to send back all energy sent to you. And though I don't believe in cursing people, I do curse places and objects. And so the third spell is to curse any objects that bullies have stolen from you so that those objects hurt the thief. Depending on how bad the abuse was, you may need to do this ritual several times, for example, in the morning and at night, or on the new moon and the full moon. I tend to do rituals on the new moon and the full moon, especially eclipses. Eclipses are very powerful. If you're going to do spell work, I think it's always best to write your own spells. You have more power than anyone peddling spells online. You can write a poem. If you want to write a spell, always write in the present tense, as though it is happening now. Time is a human construct, and the universe doesn't do time. Also, never write anything negative. So let's say you want a job where you are not bullied. So you pray, please God, I want a job where I'm not bullied. No and no. If you say I want, you project the energy of perpetual want out into the universe. Also, it's negative. So you say instead, I have a peaceful and harmonious job where I am understood, respected, and liked by all of my coworkers, and I get along with all of my coworkers, or something like that. So let's say you want a new partner. So you pray, please God, I want a partner who doesn't cheat on me. No and no. I have a partner who is loyal, who adores me, and who has eyes only for me. What I don't like about people who do this bullshit is that it gives witches a bad name. Witchcraft is a beautiful spiritual tradition that white witches use to create peace, joy, and love in the world for themselves and for their loved ones. A witch was originally nothing more than a wise woman with knowledge of the healing properties of the earth. Witches were early pharmacists. That's all they were. And by the way, men who practice the craft call themselves witches. They do not call themselves wizards or warlocks. This is not Harry Potter. But healing is a great power indeed. And as medicine was co-opted by the misogynistic patriarchy, like everything else, men did not like that much power in the hands of a woman. The historical persecution of witches is literally the world's longest running narcissistic smear campaign. Any spiritual tradition can be used for good or ill. I'm sure the Catholic faith brings a lot of peace and joy to its adherents, but correct me if I'm wrong, the Catholic Church has a problem with pedophilia. White witches use magic for the same reason anyone subscribes to any spiritual tradition, to make the world a better place. We do not use magic to hurt innocent women because we are jealous of them, because we hate all women, because we hate our mother. The final thing I want to say is do not be afraid. Do not ever let another person have that much power over you. Do not ever give your power away. If you think you're cursed, you're cursed. If some idiot is running home and doing very weird things to a doll in the middle of the night out of absolutely nothing but narcissistic pathological jealousy, then that person is by definition beneath you. They're weak and you are stronger than they are. You have more power than they do, so use it. When I figured out what the administrative assistant at the tutoring center was doing, you know what I felt? Humor. I felt amused. I just thought it was so entertaining that she thought not only that it would actually work, but also that I wouldn't know. Workplace bullies may be able to give us diarrhea a few times, but trust, they will get their karma. I hope that helps. Take care.